What's the most insane mashup of engine parts that you could possibly think of? My brain immediately goes to something like this. It's a Ford 5.0 V8 with modern GM LT heads on it. However, there's also this thing. That is a 300 cubic inch Ford straight six engine with LS heads on it, or I guess a head. You'll let me explain. A while back we talked about this brilliant creation, the brainchild of Mark McDonald, who figured out that modern LT heads from GM would fit on an old school Ford small block V8, i.e. the 5.0 that called, among other things, the Fox Body Mustang home. It was quite insane that things like the bolt holes, the coolant passages, even like the bore spacing between the pistons was all so close that this swap was actually doable. Not only did this swap work, it worked well. Which brings me to today's engine. That is the Ford 300 straight six. Now it is famous for a lot of things, but it is very much not a V8, and yet it didn't stop another enterprising garage mechanic from looking at LS heads and saying, yep, they'll fit. Now the man behind this particular fever dream of an engine build is Ken Hutchinson, and much like Mark did with the 5.0 V8, he noticed that bore spacing, bolt holes, coolant passages, all of that sort of stuff on the Ford 300, well, it lined up pretty damn close to modern LS heads. The problem is, well, the LS is a V8 and this was a straight six, so some welding was going to be required. So what he ended up doing was taking two LS heads, removing one combustion chamber from each, and realized that the welding required was going to be beyond his capability, so he hired someone who could do it, welded them together, and if all this sounds incredibly challenging, yeah, it is. First and foremost is welding aluminum. Now you can do it, it can be done, it's been done, it's not uncommon. However, aluminum as a material, if you're not careful, can be prone to warping, which is what happened to the head. However, it wasn't unrepairable, and once they got the head figured out, well, there was other stuff like an intake manifold and an exhaust manifold, because 6-cylinder LS exhaust manifolds and intake manifolds, they're not exactly an off-the-shelf part. So a completely custom intake manifold was fabricated, and when it came to the exhaust side, well, he just took two hooker headers, removed one of the ports, welded them together, added a T4 flange, and, well, wouldn't you know, it all fit together. But that flange, yeah, he's not just gonna build this engine and see if it works. Nah, anybody can do that. We're gonna add boost to it in the form of a turbo, which is awesome. Now, due to the incredibly custom nature of this build, well, it's taken some time, but we're at a point now where Ken has an engine management system thanks to Holley, and well, this engine, it should be roaring to life pretty dang soon.